We vote on your request for parole, we do have some questions. Do you think you'll be able to adjust to life on the outside?
Allow me to partologize myself. Suppositorily speaking, my incarceration has forced, you understand, the ventilation of, shall I say, my dairy air. And upon my discharge, I will ejaculate my mind to the prophylactic of the bowels of society.
But how would you support yourself, Mr. Bates, considering that your reading comprehension has gone down every year since you've been in prison?
A very vaginative proposition, my man. That is to say, prostitution pertaining to the context, you understand, of the argument. I myself have imminentized my liquidation, and therefore, ergo, i.e., that is the instigation, which is excessive cleavage, shall we say. So, let me clarify, or, clarify. In other words, I'd probably teach.
Yeah, he'd probably teach. I think that happens to a lot of the formerly incarcerated individuals out here. Maybe they don't actually become teachers in the K through 12 system, but they attempt to be teachers in the street. And where they probably gained a lot of weight inside the penal institution, they think that same weight will carry them on the outside. But it doesn't. It doesn't always translate, because truthfully, the people that knew you inside, they got inside just like you got inside, by breaking the law, by doing something that you weren't supposed to do. And you're all in there now, either pleading your case, pleading your innocence, or talking about how you were framed by the man. Very, very few are in there saying, yeah, I did it, I shouldn't have did it, and I won't do it again when I get out. They all have an excuse. Now, we're not talking about wrongfully accused, wrongfully charged, arrested, charged, tried, and convicted, and then wrongfully sentenced. We're talking about the people who actually did the shit. And most of them are in there trying to talk about how they shouldn't be in there for this, that, or those reasons. Very few of them are saying, when I get out, I'm going to do better. But then when they do get out and they don't have nothing to do, then maybe nonprofit status can save them. But I'm here to tell anybody and everybody, 501c3 status will not save you. It will not save you. You being a fake activist out here won't save you. What will save you is just by being who you really are and going where you need to really go. Fair use on any copyrighted material that was used right at the end of the video. I'm going to use some more copyrighted material as I continue on. Appreciate anybody that's checking this out on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter. I just can't call it X. I know it's supposed to be called X, but I can't call it X. I'll always call it Twitter until it goes away. No IG live video today. I didn't feel like setting it up. It's just too much you got to go through to get the video set up. But we're here to talk about integration. We're here to talk. Well, I'm here to talk about integration. If you'd like to be in the chat, feel free to drop comments. If you want to actually come up on this live stream, if you just dare to, I will drop the link. Hopefully the audio is coming through clearly. Nobody has said anything in the chat. Nobody has liked the video yet. I guess I ain't said nothing worth liking yet. So let me just get to it, because I'm kind of vain with my shit. And if you don't give me a like or a love within the first 10, 15 minutes, I'll be ready to shut it down. I'll be like, oh, ain't nobody really listening. They just got it on. They ain't really listening. But this is what we're here to talk about today. We had a little fun at the beginning, but now it's time to get serious. This is what we're here to talk about today. Let me go and drop myself off the screen before I come all the way up. Integration. I talk a lot about race, racial issues, racism, bigotry. And I also talk a lot about integration, because I believe there's a direct tie to integration. That's why I titled this Integration, Why It Fooled Black Folks, and then put in integration, Jim Crow racism. Because if you say it all together, it actually flows. Integration, Jim Crow racism. Because when they allowed Black people to start to go places that they didn't previously allow, when we had to have separate waiting rooms, as you can see, waiting room for colored only, when we had to have separate drinking fountains, as you see. And shout out to that brother who said, fuck that, I'm thirsty and I'm gonna drink from this fountain. Whites only. Hotels, neighborhoods, schools, businesses, when we couldn't work at them, when they were just white only businesses, when there was no integration into all of those entities, we were in the midst of Jim Crow racism. And because we've moved past Jim Crow, racism, by them allowing us to integrate into a certain part of America, some people think we made it. Some people think we're free. Some people think this is where we're supposed to be. This is what Dr. King and everybody fought for. They think we made it. We ain't made it, y'all. We ain't made it. And the problem with people thinking that we made it means that they kind of slow up. They kind of slow up. You know, when you feel like you've got the race won, you kind of slow up. And that's a problem, because until somebody announces you as the winner, the race isn't over yet. The battle isn't won yet. The war isn't won yet. Until somebody raises someone's hand in victory, you need to keep running. You need to keep moving. Because before long, if you stop, somebody else will be looking to step right on your toes. And what happens when somebody steps on your feet? When somebody steps on your feet, what is the first thing you do? You move your feet. You move your feet. It's a natural reaction. It's a human reaction. You move your feet. When somebody steps on your shoes, you automatically move your feet. Now what happens when you do that? When you move your feet, somebody else's footprints will be right where your footprints were. Uakata, peace, brother. First person saying hello, peace to you. And we know it to be Black History Month every month, so I'm not going to say Happy Black History Month to you, because it's Black History Month every month. 365 days a year it is for us. And this year they're giving us an extra day. We got an extra day in Black History Month. Y'all better act a fool up in here. Y'all better act a fool. Y'all getting an extra day. Y'all got 29 days this year. Oh, happy day. Oh, happy day. They're giving y'all 29 days to celebrate y'all whole history in America. They usually only give you 28. So it's time to act a little uppity this year. We got 29. Only give it to you every 4 years, though. Only give it to you every 4 years. We also got to celebrate Dr. King's birthday on Dr. King's birthday. It wasn't the 17th. It wasn't the 19th, the 20th. It was the 15th. We celebrated his birthday on his birthday. How about that? How about that? But what we want to talk about today is integration. And integration comes into play. We had got to the point in our history here in this country where we were cornered. We were cornered in a way where we didn't have sufficient anything, and we saw that other factions of people did have sufficient things, so we wanted those sufficient things. And it wasn't that we couldn't have sufficient things, because we had sufficient things in America. You know, during Reconstruction, we had to learn how to fight on our own in America. And when we were segregated in America, we started to figure things out in America. And what'd that do? What'd that do? That made white folks mad. That made white folks mad. And it was like, wait a minute. They organizing. They up here organizing they shit. They don't need to come buy our shit, use our shit, beg for our shit. We got to do something about this. We 20 years out of slavery and we got schools. We building up cities. We learning and earning on our own because nobody else would do it on a grand scale. There was a few white folks that messed with us back in the day, but for the most part, Black folks were segregated, not integrated. Appreciate you, brother. Says great topic. Yeah, living in a westernized country for us makes true reality counterintuitive. Don't come here using all them big words, brother. You know it's early. Folks just getting up, wiping the eye boogers out their eyes, or maybe just getting done with church, having that dude with the 7-button suit and the slick back hair tell him a lie or two so he can get him a couple coins, so his family can get taken care of, getting taken care of. And it's Black History Month, and it's the first Sunday of Black History Month. First Sunday, and it's Black History Month. Boy, I bet you the preachers out there getting a bag today. The preachers out there getting a bag today. First Sunday of Black History Month. They are, oh, and it's communion too? Boy, it's communion too? Yeah. Give me 2 shots and 2 crackers, please. Integration presented by the Western propaganda machine as good and progress for us. We actually took a L. We gonna jump into that. Uakata. We gonna jump into that. But we gonna jump in slow. I gotta walk this in slow. You know, hopefully the room swells up enough to where it's not just us in here with the 2-hand tongue game. Hopefully some other people want to come in and jump in the chat. Hopefully people are brave enough to maybe come up on the stream and say what they got to say today. Because integration for us was a fool tactic. What was that old saying? A fool and his money soon parted. And they played that line on Sanford and Son. He said, won't be long now, fool. That's what was happening. When they was putting the integration laws into America, a fool and his money soon parted. Won't be long now, fool. This is what happened. This is what happened to us. And it wasn't a situation where we couldn't have prevented it, because we could have. We could have prevented it. But we bought into integration by being allowed to do some things that we weren't allowed to do previously. And truthfully, that's not what we should have came for. We shouldn't have came for just to be allowed to be a part of the American infrastructure. Why are we asking to be a part of the America infrastructure when we built the America infrastructure? A lot of people still don't buy into that as well. And I'm not here to sell any of that stuff today. I got a specific agenda today to talk about integration. But why people don't really believe that we built the America infrastructure, and that's why we're owed something from the America infrastructure, because we were never paid for the building of the American infrastructure. Why people have a problem with that, I don't know. And I'm not here to argue any of that. I'm here to talk about integration and why it fooled Black folks today. And then we'll talk about a couple other things. So where I am with this thing right now, integration, when you break it all down, and that's what I'm about to do, is I'm about to break it all down. It had to do more than just allowing us to go some places, to do some things. We were owed more, and we should have gotten more out of integration. Integration, the action or process of integrating, right up underneath it is where It's the most important part of the word itself. Before we get into all the synonyms, integration. This is from a dictionary that was not created by a black man, an American black man, an American freedman. This was a dictionary entry that was created by a European individual. Probably an American, but originally from the land of Caucasus. Integration, the action or process of integrating, economic and political integration, economic and political integration, economic. I'm gonna go Umar on y'all today. Because I even got a clip with Umar in it today. So I'm gonna give you a little Umar interlude, prelude to enter to Umar. Economic and political integration. That's what we should have been coming for. We should have been coming for, I don't need to be that big. There we go. We should have been coming for economic and political integration. If you want to integrate me into your idea, if you got an idea, if you got a plan, if you got a plot, if you got something that you want me to be a part of, I want to play an integral part of what you got going on. Don't just bring me in to have me hold a flag. Okay, I don't want to just hold a flag. I am a viable commodity. I can be an important piece. I am a moldable piece. If you need a fixed piece, I can be a fixed piece. See, the one thing about me is I have a chameleon-like spirit, but I am not reptilian. There's a difference between a chameleon and a reptilian. But my spirit gives me enough to where I can play an integral part into what you have going on. So if you want to integrate me into your situation, I need to be a part of it through and through. That's when we get into talking about these synonyms, combination, amalgamation, incorporation. If you want to incorporate me into your situation, then that is true integration. If you want unification, a young brother got to talking to me about unification a couple of days ago. He thought I was trying to not unify with my community, where he learned just on a post that I am not only about unification, I'm not about separation, segregation. But if we want to talk integration, we got to be talking about unification. We got to be talking about consolidation. We got to be talking about merger, fusing, blending, meshing, homogenization, homogenizing. Are we not talking about those things? If we're not talking about those things, then we might as well drop all the way down to the second last line that you see. We're just talking about desegregation, and that's it. So we're together, but we ain't really doing nothing else with it, because there is no economic and political integration. Because to really move something for your people, to really move something for your people, you've got to be integrated from an economic stance. You've got to be integrated from a political stance. Forget all these clowns out here talking this craziness, burning candles, incense, and sage, talking a whole bunch of circular nonsense. Anybody still talking that Pan-Africanist babble in 2024 is a clown. is a clown, and they still on this time right here. Appreciate the love for the video. You don't need to say hello, but you did the love thing. I appreciate you. We off that Pan-Africanist fare. It did nothing for us, but it made us feel good for many, many years. It made us feel strong. But did we actually integrate economically and politically by being Pan-Africanist? Nah. We did nothing to move our needle economically and politically as Pan-Africanists, and that's why it don't work. And I know some of y'all sitting around like,
what did you say, nigga?
It is what it is. I know a lot of people who still believe in the Pan-Africanist dream. They still believe, we can do for self. You do for self. The government don't owe you nothing. You do for self. But they get federal grants for the business that they incorporated in. You do for self. We need do for selferisms. We can buy up the block. We can clean up the block. We can clean up the park. And we can buy up the block by doing for self. Babble.
What did you say, nigga?
Babble. We don't need it anymore. We've got to move forward economically and politically. Appreciate the folks jumping in and out. I don't know if you're jumping in and staying in, jumping in and out. I just see the number go up and down. That's all I really see. So if what I'm saying is interesting, you stay good. If it's not interesting to you, keep it pushing. You're better gone. I appreciate you. So my situation is now. My situation is now, not before. And that's why I chose for this Black History Month not to talk about a whole bunch of stuff that we did. It's time to do a whole bunch of new stuff. It's time to make a whole bunch of new Black history. And I see everybody's a lot on that same time with a lot of their stuff. I done seen revisions of things that went on 3, 4, 5 years in a row because they can't come up with no new ideas. They just keep doing the same shit. Is that how you make history, by doing the same thing over and over? No, that's how you become insane. Doing the same thing and expecting a different result. Black History Month. And that's unfortunate. I saw people pulling out Rosa Parks and Martin Luther King and Malcolm X on day one. On day one. They pulled out the big guns on day one. Come on, y'all. I mean, you can at least wait till the middle of the month to pull out the big guns. You should be talking about so many other things that happened in our history. In our history, not just civil rights history, in our history. How come nobody's talking about the history of Black farming? How come nobody's talking about the history of Black educators, of Black litigators, of Black tradesmen, of Black inventors? How come nobody talks about that stuff? Why we only talk about Malcolm, Martin, and Rosa? Why is that the only people we ever talk about in Black History Month? And then some of y'all be putting up people that aren't even American Black folks. Y'all just put up any old body. I mean, I wouldn't even hate when people talked more about Thurgood Marshall, Adam Clayton Powell. I wouldn't hate it. But every year, same thing, right out the tank. Rosa, Martin, Malcolm. You rarely hear Medgar. Rarely. But even with that, that's a part of our history indeed. And I'm not taking anything away from people that fought for me to be here today. But there were so many more people before them that fought for those people to do what they did for us to be here today. Why don't we talk about those people? Because we are locked in mentally. We are locked in mentally. You know why we're locked in mentally? Because we have not integrated our minds economically and politically. We only think about one of the worst histories ever. The civil rights era was one of the worst histories. People weren't being treated like this all around the world. They were being treated like this in America. And I know that the slave trades, they had various slave trades around the world, but people don't talk about the slave trades around the world. They talk about the transatlantic slave trade that happened here in the country that became America. Some of the worst things have happened to our people in this country here. And some of the greatest things that have happened to our people have happened right here. So why don't more people talk about some of those other things? Why do we just stick with the civil rights era and talk about the struggles that we went through? I mean, who's got Black Panthers up there? Somebody got to have Black Panthers up today. I bet you somebody got the Black Fist, the Black Panther. They got that up today for Black History Month. A lot of y'all got the red, black, and green up for Black History Month. That's, whatever. I'm going to leave y'all alone with the red, black, and green. I'm going to let y'all do it because y'all kind of let me know that y'all Pan-African-y. You're Pan-African-y when you got that red, black, and green still flowing. You are an American first. And I'd rather you put your freedom flag up with your blue, white, and red. Or you're going to float the red, white, and blue. But what are you doing floating that red, black, and green for if you're not Pan-African-y? But the panty's going to be here. I get it. They going to be here. Still accepting government grants with their nonprofits. Do-for-selfers. Every do-for-selfer out here now got a nonprofit. I'm telling you. And what they're doing with that nonprofit, besides profiting. Okay, let's move on, shall we? So understanding where we've been with the word integration, with the definition integration, we saw things like this: waiting room for colored only, whites only, no Negroes allowed, no niggers allowed. There were some people that were bold enough to put it on the side of their building, no niggers allowed, back in the day. They did that. They did that. Don't y'all like to say that? He did that. How come y'all don't say that about the stuff that happened to us back then like that? They would put it on the side of a building. No niggers allowed. No Mexicans, no Puerto Ricans, no Asians. Actually, they would say no Chinese, no Japanese. They didn't say Asians back then. Or they might say no Orientals. How come nobody talks about stuff like that? We just go right to Malcolm, Martin, and Rosa. Everybody gonna be heading down to the Greenfield Village to sit in the bus that Rosa sat on. Walk through the civil rights era of the DIA. It's one part of our history, one really difficult part of our history. But it brought about integration. It brought about integration. And when integration came, as a people, we weren't ready for it. We weren't ready to integrate. And for those of you who are just listening to my voice, I appreciate you. But I switched the slide. You may notice that I switched the slide from integration to integrate, because there is a slight difference from this, the action or process of integrating economic and political integration, to this, combine one thing with another so they become a whole. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Here come the hammer. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. When you combine with another, so they can become a whole. Transportation planning should be integrated with energy policy. It doesn't really have anything to do with what I'm talking about, so I won't really go into that. Not a good definition of what I'm talking about. But let's look at the synonyms: combine, amalgamate, merge, unite, join, fuse, blend, mingle, coalesce, consolidate, meld, intermingle, mix, intermix, incorporate, affiliate, unify, assimilate, homogenize, harmonize, mesh, desegregate, commingle. Its antonym is to separate. And the crazy thing is that we entered integration and we've still been separated. Where's the consolidation? Where is the merger? Where is the affiliation? Where is it in economics and politics? You show me where it is, then I'll stop talking about it. But I'm going to keep talking about it because I'm about it. This is what they don't want to talk about on a daily basis anytime, let alone Black History Month. Let alone Black History Month, let alone the time we're supposed to be up celebrating. We're supposed to be celebrating and partying. Yeah. I'm not going to be celebrating and partying this month. I'm going to be getting some things done. Be working with the youngins this month. Can't wait to get out here and work with the youngins. You know, starting this week. Got to call up my gear guy so I can get some more Pebbles to Pillars things popping. Get some t-shirts. I got a couple hoodies that I need him to do because it's still cool out here. So, you know, I'm a hoodie guy, so I'm going to get my hoodies. But yeah, I got some things I want to do. What I need is for people to understand I have no problem. I have no problem with working by myself, but I would prefer to integrate with individuals because I know that if we integrate, if we combine, if we merge, if we unite, if we fuse, if we consolidate, I think we can get more done that way. And I know there's people out here that feel like, you know what? I'm only going to deal with Black people. And then there's people out here that say, I'm only going to deal with white people. And then there's Asian people that say, I'm only going to deal with Asians. That works well for them. And then there's Indian people that say, I'm only going to deal with Indians. And that works well for them. And then there's Latino people that say, I'm only going to deal with Latinos. And that works well for them. And then there's Islamic people that say, I'm only going to work with Islamic people. And that works well for them. In the years past, in the decades past, in the centuries past, it worked well for white people, but white people can't get along in this country by doing things on their own. They absolutely need every other faction of people. There ain't no white businesses out here doing everything that they did 50 years ago, 100 years ago on their own. In some way, shape, or form, they have to come across some help from another ethnicity. As far as American Blacks go, There's things that we can do absolutely on our own because we've been on our own. But to get to that next level, we've got to have multi-level thinking. And in some cases, we have to combine. We have to merge. We have to unite. We have to consolidate to be able to totally unify economically and politically. I know this ain't the jump up and down, the giggle, the laugh stream that, you know, sometimes I give when I deliver my content, but today it's teaching time. Or for some of y'all, it's continuing education time, because I've talked about integration before, maybe not to this depth, but I've spoke on it many a times. If we're going to integrate, let's integrate. If we're not going to integrate, then we might as well separate, because then we don't have to have that on our mind. The last thing you want to do is think you are something when you are somewhere and you are not. Because if you are not what you think you are and you are somewhere, you are nowhere. Absolutely nowhere.
Did you say nigger?
I live a pretty transparent life. And the one thing that I've never tried to hide was what my spouse looks like, what my kids look like, who I do businesses. I'm a pretty upfront person. And I know that what I need to do on a daily basis to take care of those who are around me, I know one main thing I can never do, and that is compromise myself. So in dealing with what I deal with on a daily basis, I absolutely have to put myself in a space where I integrate with others. Once again, I don't need to be that big. And if I integrate with others on a business end, that's an economic end, I have to incorporate who I am into that situation. I have to merge into that situation. And I also have to assimilate into that situation, because to be able to perform my duties, my tasks, to get what I need, I've got to be included in that situation. See, I'm not asking for inclusion from some type of bill. I'm asking for inclusion economically and politically. Now, if they got to write some laws about it, okay. But I really don't think we need no laws to include somebody economically and politically. I don't think we need laws for that, do we? Can't we just do business differently? Because when you need a law to make somebody do something, that means you're forcing somebody to do something whether they want to or not. So if their heart's not in it, but they're only doing it because they don't want to break the law, that's not real integration. They're going to end up doing something shady in the process. And why do we want that? Why do we need that? And we don't need that. It's a rhetorical question. It's a rhetorical question. Excuse me here. So I'm looking at so many different situations down. I'm sorry, I got a message. I got it because I asked a question. So where I believe we have to start now, if you're not already in this process, getting involved with people on a business end, getting involved with people on a business end, you must be in the mindset. You must be in the mindset of, what am I trying to accomplish? Why am I trying to accomplish? And how long am I going to give it for us to be able to do that? Those things have to come out early. If they don't, you're not going to accomplish anything at all. The reason you didn't accomplish anything, why? Because you didn't put those three things together. And however long you gave it to manifest or not manifest, as it were, is totally your fault. You give everything a deadline. You give everything a deadline. And the reason you give it a deadline, because you're basically putting pressure on yourself to make something happen. You set a goal to get to a certain space. Maybe you actually extend past that deadline if things are going, but you don't just let things go for an infinite period of time where there's nothing that ever really happens. Unless you just want to be like one of these nonprofits out here talking about activism. Because they put things together all the time talking about activism. But what is it? Why are you doing it? And what's the end goal? Most don't have them. They just circular talking. Do for selfers. Panties. Panties. All day. Babble. And they go through penal university and come out with an Oswald Bates master's degree. I think I'll teach. Okay. So what I'm looking for at this point is common sense for people who just don't understand integration and what it was supposed to be and what it really is. Just because you can do some things that we might have not been able to do 60 years ago doesn't mean anything. You are allowed to do some things because they changed some laws that disallowed you. But how did that help you economically and politically? And if it didn't help you economically and politically, then why are you doing it? Why are you in that space? If you are not merging with people, if you are not unifying with people, if you are not incorporating people, why are you in that space? Because you're definitely not truly integrating economically and politically. That's it. It doesn't matter about anything else. It does not matter. There is no true integration without economic integration, without political integration. Good afternoon, Dr. Cynthia. There is no true integration. And my thing is, it's not just me saying it. Other people say it, But then they get right back out there and believe that they're doing something because they are working with people, but they're not really connected economically and they're not connected politically. So they're not truly integrated in the situation. Everything that we deal with out here, every single thing that we deal with out here has to do with either economics or politics. There isn't anything that we deal with in this world today, and we didn't make it that way. The system made it that way. Now, if you're part of the system, which I don't think I'm that big, where I got the system watching me, but we didn't create any of what's out here now, but we've got to change it if we want to move. We just came for the wrong things when they introduced desegregation laws or integration laws. We went for the wrong shit. We went for things. We went for abilities to be able to do things we hadn't been able to do. And then all of a sudden, we could do 2, 3, 4, 5 things that we couldn't do before, and we were happy. We flipped political parties. Most Black people voted Republican before we started voting Democrat during this whole civil rights integration period. We wanted people to be decent to us. Absolutely, Dr. Cynthia. We wanted people to be decent to us. We were seeking basic humanity. And I have to make it simple and make it plain. It wasn't that I didn't think or I wasn't around during this period, but I don't think that we just went for these things. I think the people that were out in front of the civil rights movement thought that they would just be natural occurrences. If we're allowed to do these things just by nature, we will indeed be able to fully integrate into the system of America economically and politically. But as Dr. Cynthia said, we were seeking basic humanity. And I know that I play on the words every now and then, but I know we weren't just looking for people to be nice to us. We weren't just looking for people to be nice to us. And I'll say that every now and then. I'll say that about Democrats coming to talk to Black folks. We like when Democrats come to talk to us because they talk nice. And then we think Republicans talk mean. And when I say we, I say as a collective. I don't separate myself, even though I've separated myself from the Democratic Party. But we were seeking basic humanity with the entrance of integration, and that's not what happened. Some people acted different. Some people did different, but the mindset was still the same against American Blacks. Economic and political integration did not happen the way it was thought to have naturally happen. I have to believe that the civil rights leaders that were involved, they wanted economic and political integration, but they didn't take that next step. And then bing, bang, boom, they started knocking them off. You think about it, as things strengthened for Black Americans, people started to get cut. Medgar got cut, Malcolm got cut, Martin got cut. 3 heads of the civil rights machine got cut. The Black Panther Party got compromised. The Black Panther Party got compromised. They infiltrated it. How do you infiltrate the Black Panther Party? And why would you want to? The Black Panther Party for self-defense. I'm like, wait a minute. What do you mean self-defense? You mean they're going to defend themselves from these ass beatings we've been giving them all these years? They're going to arm themselves with guns. They're going to feed their children, make sure their children got food so they're properly nourished before they go to school. The fuck y'all mean? We've got to compromise the Black Panther Party for self-defense. We can't allow them to do that. They're looking for self-solvency. Ain't got no traffic lights in their neighborhood, so they're going to be the traffic lights. They're directing traffic in their own neighborhoods, making sure kids don't get hit in the street, making sure ladies can make it across the street with their groceries. How dare they? They're educating young Black men, young Black women to love each other, to work with one another. Man, we got to get rid of the Black Panther Party. We got to get rid of that. We can't have that in America. This was the thinking where the civil rights activists probably thought, well, with integration, the thinking will change. The thinking didn't change. Change. No. Oh, absolutely. He absolutely did. He absolutely did. And that's why he had to go. That's why he had to go. That book was published. Martin switched his I Have a Dream thing around till we coming to get our check. And he had to go. He was like, wait a minute. What happened to I Have a Dream? Some of us have, sister. Some of us have. If Martin Luther King hadn't woke up from his dream, they would have never checked him out. They would have never, ever checked him out. There wouldn't have been a reason to take King out had he never came up out of his dream. Once he woke up from having his dream, that's when he had to get put to sleep. Y'all don't hear me. It's Sunday service, and y'all don't hear me. Once Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. woke up from his dream, it was time to put him to sleep. We couldn't have that. We gave y'all all these integration laws, desegregation laws, but they knew good and well they held back the economics and they held back the political integration. If all we ever got was the economic and political integration, wouldn't have meant beans to me. We can do a lot with economic and political integration. We can't do shit by being able to stay at the same Holiday Inn as white folks. We can't do shit by being able to go to the same diner as white folks and get a meal. We really can't get shit done out here, even if we sit next to white people in a classroom. And I grew up in a predominantly white area, and I sat next to more white kids, and I never felt inferior in any class that I was ever in. I never felt like I couldn't hang with anybody that didn't look like me in a class. But I know good and well, they didn't look at me as a student the same way they looked at other kids as students. Most of y'all black kids out here are going to go through the general track, K through 12 system, not the college track. unless you say otherwise, unless you make them do otherwise. Absolutely, Dr. Cynthia. Absolutely. We got symbolic gestures. Oh, yeah, Tricky Dick was crazy with the Black economics. Benign neglect was birthed in his era. An unfunded propaganda campaign. We're going to make it look like we doing something for y'all, but at the end of the day, we ain't doing shit. That's all that was. We going to make it look like we doing something, but we really not doing nothing. And at the end of the day, you not going to get nothing because we don't really care. We gave you integration. What more do you want from us? America was sounding like Tyrese. What more do you want from me? He's canceled, just in case y'all didn't know. Tyrese is absolutely canceled. Did I actually put that? Let me see if I put that in my email. If I put that in my email, did you hear about the thing with Tyrese, Dr. Cynthia? What'd you say? White schools I attended tried to place me on the general academic track. Hey, I'm glad I got a second on that, because a lot of people don't really believe that that even exists. Many people don't believe that that exists, Dr. Cynthia. They're not up on it. I get it. I don't even get offended by it. I don't get offended by it. Let me see. Where is that Tyrese thing at? I could have swore I had it. I could have swore I had that Tyrese thing. I'm going to find it. Yeah, he tore his ass sideways with that. I didn't even understand why it was necessary for him to go that route, but he does a lot of things for clout. And I don't know if he's going to say that he was trying to inspire Black people. You know, I'm looking right now. Hold on one second. Here we go. Hold on one second. Hold on one second. I'm trying to get it so I can put it up on the screen. Let me get it so I can put it up on the screen. Because Tyrese, and this is what takes integration to another situation. Because I'm not blaming anybody in this video other than Tyrese. Please understand. Nobody is getting blamed in this video other than Tyrese. Okay? Give me 1 second. Tyrese is an express of internalized racism, and the Hispanics can have him. You want to give him away? Are we giving him away all the way, Dr. Cynthia? Are we giving away just his body of work? Or are we just throwing him away? We could just throw him away if we want to just throw him away. I have no problem with that. You already know where I'm at with celebrity. Hold on 1 second. Cynthia said, yep. We can get rid of him. I have no problem with that. Once you say you don't want to be with us, what good are you anyway? Right? What good are you anyway, homie? So, let me get it to the situation here. All right. Everything, the whole body of work. That's cool. We'll send him packing. I have no problem with it, sister. You got to understand. Once you cut our people Now I'm going to look at you sideways all day long. All day long. Okay? That's the way I'm going to look at you sideways all day long. And then with that being said, I'm not only going to look at you sideways, I can throw away anything that you put out there. What does it say? We need to become comfortable like the Amish when it comes to shunning our collective. Hey. Yeah, because if they put you out, if you Amish and they put you out, you ass out. I mean, you out. The Amish, they get dirty with it. They get dirty with it. Now Amish, whew, they tough with theirs. They send you packing. No more churning butter for you, buddy. Oshkosh. Uh-oh. We got some light in the room. We got some light in the room. If anybody didn't feel it, I felt it. I felt the room lighten up a little bit. John Henry's in the house. Light skins for the win today. Well, we about to see, because Tyrese took the dark skins down a couple pegs. I mean, dark skinned people down 400 for this one. Let me go ahead and put him up here. Let me go on and put it up here. Yeah. Let's go on and put this on up here. So what happened, y'all, was Tyrese decided he would go on Instagrams. He went on Instagrams and put up a post. And I don't know if y'all can see that. Let me see if I can blow it up a little bit. Can I blow it up a little bit? There we go. There we go. Because what's really important is what he posted. Not so much this video, but we're going to go through the video in a second. Can y'all see that decently? Hopefully y'all can see that well enough. Okay. Sometimes I wish I was born Latino. This is Tyrese. This is Tyrese. Bad baby boy, 4 brothers, sweet lady, this is Tyrese. Cutting his lady's hair on camera, Tyrese, too. Yeah, because he did some goofy stuff in here, too. Anyway, sometimes I wish I was born Latino. I mean, the Latino community is grounded in family, loyal, entrepreneurs, businessmen, and women literally represent the dream, the grind, the hustle, doing whatever it takes to stick together against all odds. So I was offing. I was literally offing in the first paragraph. I feel the same way, John Henry, but we're going to report on what's been reported on. What do you say? He been tripping ever since he went to Dubai? No, he been tripping ever since they took that Starbucks out the back of his house when he was behind in child support. Yeah, he been tripping for a long time. I don't know what Dubai had to do with anything. Last thing I seen, he was in a dress. Any man who calls himself baby boy should be looked at sideways. I get it, Jody. Little Jody. So it says, if us is Black culture was more grounded in these integral, magical nuances of us, we would be dominant. I hate when people try to sound smart. He sounds just like Oswald Bates sounded at the beginning of the stream. If us is Black culture was more grounded in these integral, magical nuances of us, we would be dominant. That wasn't even needed. He should have backspaced that whole little paragraph out, because that was horrible, Tyrese. Moving on. I've learned a lot from the Jewish community by letting them be your lawyers, by letting them be your accountants, because they ain't taught you nothing else. You still making movies. You still trying to sing records. You still mad because you didn't get picked for the Teddy Pendergrass role. You've learned a lot from the Jewish community, accepting movie roles from studios that are owned by Jewish people. See, this right here, stuff like this is really, really dangerous. Coming up for a second. Stuff like this is dangerous. When you start saying that you've learned so much from everybody else, when you want to lead with that as a black man or a black woman, if you want to lead with that, you're pretty much done. If that's who you lead with, if you think that getting you to the point of where you've learned so much from Jewish people, that's how you start out after you just kicked black people in the ass. The paragraph before, you just kicked black people in the ass. Oh, my baby got her phone back. Lulu lost her phone. Lulu lost her phone last night because somebody took Ray's coat and they just got it back. They just got it back. She's sending me text. I got a 4-year-old sending me text. So him saying that he's learned so much from the Jewish community, to me, very disrespectful to start it out that way. But we're going to let him rock here. We're going to let him rock. And like I said, hopefully that's big enough for y'all to be able to see on your individual screens. I blew it up considerably. I can even try one more, make sure. That was even better. That's good. Okay. I've learned a lot from the Jewish community sticking together, eating dinner every Friday together. I've learned a lot from the Muslim community throughout all my travels in the Middle East. They have a father structure where they honor their fathers in the Middle East. Their fathers, the Middle East, the thinking is the men and the mentality is that they would much rather have a son over a daughter because they know that there is nothing like the leadership of a father and a man being the head of the household. So you'd rather have a son than have a daughter. So if there was just all men being leaders of other men, how you producing more children if you ain't got no daughters? His second level thinking ain't made it to the second floor yet. I have no idea how we lost our way. We lost our way by listening to entertainers like you, Tyrese. That's how we lost our way. By listening to hula hands like you. We can't get anything done, accomplished as a fragmented culture, insecure, threatened by each other. He was starting a word there and he didn't back. You can tell this is copy and pasted. This is copy and pasted. Nobody helped him proofread it. He was starting a whole nother word there, and then all of a sudden he just stopped and came to the next sentence. Competitive towards our own race, killing ourselves every single day. Frivolously, the majority of us is black men, and the millions are locked up in prison. Somebody really should have helped him with the composition of this. It's really difficult in reading it, and I'm starting to get a headache, so hopefully we'll be done soon. Of course, we are beyond powerful, influential, and successful. But imagine if we all linked up like other communities have linked, poured and built up on each other instead of moving like fragmented and dysfunctional. We have what it takes to take over the world. We are nothing trying to do it alone. Please chime in. We would love to know your thoughts on this. Who's we? The person that didn't help you proofread this shit? Tariq Nasheed put his comment in there. This reads like an audition for a new Django movie. I don't really rock with Tariq like that no more, but I agree. Tyrese is bucking his eyes for somebody right here on this post. He bucking his eyes for somebody on this post. But let's get to this video. This is the video. He puts this in here. Kids buy dad his dream truck to thank him for all the sacrifices that he made.
Troca, te la compramos. ¿Ah? Está, querías troca. Se le cayó el moño. ¿Quieres troca? Mira. ¿Te gusta o no? ¿Te gusta?
¡Para tu troca! Oh my God.
¿Te gusta o no? No, yo no quiero troca.
Oh my God.
Yeah, they do. But did you just see? I mean, it was a family who paid tribute to their father by getting him, they said, his dream truck, his dream pickup truck. That's what he's lived his life for. He wanted this pickup truck. We probably wanted it in different years, but now in the current year, this is his dream truck. So they bought him his dream truck. So Tyrese is trying to put American black people up against, I think it was a Latino family, buying a pickup truck for their patriarch. You know how many people out here have bought cars for their parents? They've done well in life on a commercial set in some way, and they bought vehicles for their parents, bought homes for their parents. But he went and found a Spanish-speaking family to salute them and show this is the way black people need to be. Black people have been buying cars for their parents and houses and stuff like that since black people had that type of money. Black people would keep their parents and grandparents in the home with them, not buy them nothing, but just provide for them once they got off the slide. Because, you know, once they hit 65, 70 back in the day, there was no more work around that they'd allow you to do. Our seniors just stayed at home. Sometimes they moved in with their kids. Or sometimes their kids came back home and took care of their parents because they're now working and they don't want to lose the house. This has been done for generations. For him to make it seem like, oh, this is what Americans need to be doing. Come on, man. That's craziness. But that's what integration has gotten us. It all ties right back to integration. The thought process that Tyrese has right now, the thought process, he thinks he's actually one of them. He thinks he's made it. But every 6 months now, we hear his ass crying about what they doing to him in the judicial system, this, that, and the other. Then he got disrespected in Home Depot, this, that, and the other. You are hired help, Tyrese. You are hired help. And the only thing that you can really do out here for these people is to keep performing. That's the only thing they want you to do. And I'm sure that there were millions of people, well, probably not millions of people who have seen that post. Let me see if I can see how many people have actually viewed that post. Can I see? Does it show how many people? 77,000 likes on this post to date. So not millions of people, not even 100,000 people. He's gotten 77,000 likes. That doesn't mean that's how many people have viewed it. But 77,000 people liked what he had to say. They clowns too. They asses is clowns too. Okay? They just a part of the problem too. They just a part of the problem too. I don't know if they're a bigger part of the problem or a smaller part of the problem, but they're a part of the problem too. So I'm looking at a scenario, excuse me. I'm looking at a scenario that for me, I don't have to like Tyrese. I don't have to dislike him either. He doesn't have to come up in my life the way he comes up in other people's lives. What happens with Tyrese is Tyrese will say this today, and then he's going to come back and say, oh, that's not what I truly meant. You know, I really honor my Black queens and my Black kings and all them. That's what he's going to say. I didn't really mean any disrespect. I didn't mean no disrespect. Family. Y'all know I didn't mean no disrespect. Come on, family. And he's going to beg for forgiveness once he gets a little bit of heat on this. A lot of people ain't really dug into it yet. The people who know. I was late seeing it. But to say that you wish you were Latino, you wish you were Jewish, you wish you were Islamic, and you learn so much from the Jewish community. You learn so much from them. Did you learn how to sing, Tyrese, from the Jewish community? Did the Jewish community give you that voice? I don't know if he ever took any real music lessons before we saw him on the Coke commercial and all that. But was Tyrese thanking Jewish people back then? Was he thanking Jewish people back then? Was he thanking Latino people back then? Was Tyrese thanking Islamic people back then? I don't think so. I don't remember Tyrese ever saying anything about Jewish people, about Islamic people, about what do you call it, people, Latinos. So when he starts talking like this, I'm going to immediately say,
Did you say nigger?
yeah. That's what I'm going to say. What'd you say? We need Tim Scott, Tyrese ticket for the election. They will help our people overcome the fallacy of racism. Yeah, because we know America is not a racist country. America is not a racist country. Tyrese got to babbling, y'all. He got to babbling, and that's a problem. That's a problem with me, and it should be a problem with you as a Black American, as an American Black. You still riding with Nikki? You still riding with Nikki? No, you riding with Joe. I know you riding with Joe. But you said if you was going to vote for a Republican, you'd vote for Nikki at one time. I thought you said that. You still riding with Nikki? Is Nikki still a viable candidate for you? I don't think Nikki can be a candidate for you anymore. Nikki done said some greasy stuff lately. But when I started this video, no, I take Trump over. See how quickly you changed up? See how quickly you changed up? I'm telling you, man. They'll make you do it too. They'll make you do it. You know. At least be honest about it. This is true. His hate is up front. His hate is I got a guess. Hold on one second. Hey baby. Did you get your phone back? Ugh. Huh? You say hi? You lost your phone, huh? But you got it back? you get that lollipop from?
You gotta say.
But you must have had a good trip with Coco. If you had a good trip with Coco, that's how you got the lollipop. Because we don't get. What? You're supposed to say hello if you're gonna say something. Don't you go, ooh, say hello. Say hello. You can't say no food in your mouth. Take it out. Say hi.
Hi.
There you go.
No.
He said, let me see if you see. Can you recognize this? Hold on a second. What's that say?
I don't know.
Hold on a second. You don't see what that says? What's that spell? Lou. What's that spell?
Love you.
Love you. Look, short bus. You know how to spell your name all of a sudden? Lou. Kai.
That doesn't spell me.
That spells Lou. Lou. Looks like we're going to have to practice.
That's H.
That's H.
Yes.
Okay. You're going to go have a nap?
No one went done with this.
When you're done with that? Okay. Well, hold on a second. Let me see something really quick. And then I'll be able to tell you something. Da-da-da. Oh, man. Is it warm outside? Did it get warmer today?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I think maybe when you wake up from nap time, maybe we go to the park.
I'm gonna pick.
You gonna pick what?
I'm gonna take a bubble bath, or I'm gonna go outside.
Why don't you can't you go outside and get all sweaty and then come in and take a bubble bath after? You can do both.
That's a Coco's decision.
That's Coco's decision? Okay, well, here's the thing. Ask Coco, can you go to the park and then take your bath after you go to the park? Or, because I don't want to take you out after you get all soaking wet and stuff like that. I'd rather do that. I'd rather you go outside and play and then come back in. Hello?
I want to do my microphone.
Oh, we'll do that another time when you're not going down for a nap.
I'm not going to go there.
You're about to go down for a nap.
Why not?
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not.
All right. It's time to go.
No, this is after my nap.
After your nap.
Yeah.
Whatever. I love you. Be good.
No, this is for after my nap.
And you're getting knuckles after your nap.
Ooh, that feels good.
I love you.
Love you.
Close that. Will you close that up for me? You closing it? Oh, charge these up?
Yep.
Okay. When you got like top-notch productions going, you got to still charge headphones. Still got to charge headphones. This grandpa thing is never over. All right. Whew. Okay. That's what keeps me from streaming as much as I do. So much as I need to. So Tyrese, he's one of these individuals who feels like, right. Get the gear ready. I'm going down for a nap. Get the gear ready so it's ready when I get up. She's something else. But yeah, man, celebrities like Tyrese, you really have to start to look at them differently. I look at all celebrities pretty much the same way. I don't look for them to get things done for us out here. I just heard something, haven't seen exactly what context it was in, but I guess Snoop Dogg threw some type of left-handed, support out there for Trump. I don't know what it's about. Haven't dug much into it, but I could see Snoop Dogg supporting Trump. If he's going to do it based on what he thinks Trump can do for him, like on a business thing, I could see him doing that. I didn't hear anything else about why he said what he said, but he basically said Donald Trump ain't do nothing to me. Maybe he hasn't. I get it. Maybe he hasn't done anything to Snoop. And truthfully, Donald Trump hasn't done a lot to most black people. You know, he hasn't done a lot to most black people. His ideology is more hurtful than anything, but Donald Trump was only in politics when Donald Trump was in politics. Who, Harry O? Because he pardoned Harry O? Now, if that's the case, yeah, that's Harry O. If that's the case, then I should support Trump because he pardoned Kwame Kilpatrick. Should I support Trump because he pardoned Kwame? I don't think I should support Trump because he pardoned Kwame. I'm grateful that he pardoned Kwame. I don't think Kwame should have did 28 calendars. I don't think he should have did the calendars that he did. Probably should have been some really extensive fines if they felt like there was money that was taken. But as far as prison sentences, come on, man. They suspending more prison sentences nowadays than they given time for. And they was trying to put him together for 28 years. Kwame could have died behind bars. He could have easily died behind bars. 28 years for no murders, no sexual assaults, no domestic violences, no nothing. Uh-oh. I keep to myself. Trump is a better option than Joe Biden. I'm not here to argue that today, nor am I going to disagree with it. But I'm still on that Cornell West time. Okay, I'm still on that Cornell West time. Welcome to the chat. I keep to myself. I don't know who you are because you keep to yourself, but I appreciate you dropping a comment in the chat. Integration is the flavor of the day. And where we are as a people, we are not where we need to be economically and politically. And we've talked extensively about it at this point. I'm 92 minutes in. So if you didn't get here early to see this, I get it. I get it. I only put up a brief schedule, probably about half hour before it came up. You know, y'all didn't have a lot of time to get here. Some of y'all need to unsubscribe. If you are subscribers of Friedman Media and Villager on Deck channels, you need to unsubscribe and subscribe back because they done janked up YouTube so much. Most people don't get notifications, but unsubscribe, subscribe, then hit the bell so you do get the notification. I'd appreciate that. Because what we're going to do is we're going to keep doing some things up here, but I want to kind of switch gears because where I've been with integration, I can take a brief break from it. We're going to take a brief break from it, okay? Maybe I'll take a smoke break. And I'm going to listen to an individual who I make fun of a lot. You know, I make fun of Umar Johnson a lot. I say things 3 times a lot. And some of his quotes and different things, you know. And I know Umar probably wouldn't give me the respect that he was supposed to give me because he would say I'm with a snow bunny, you know. But as I tell everybody, she's probably blacker than you, and she'll cut a smile in your neck if you mess with me or mine. Because she's devoid of melanin, what's that supposed to mean? If her spirit's right, does it really matter that she's white? Who did you boycott today? I like these names. I keep to myself. And who did you boycott today? Oligarchy, power, and wealth have erased your political vote for 40 years, part 1. Are these books? Are these books that we should be reading? Because you came in kind of hot with your post. Who did you boycott today? Are these books that we should be checking out? You know, I'm not sure exactly where that came from, but if that's what that is, I definitely like to check that out. Hopefully it's on Audible, because that's where I read most of my books at this point. But I want to play something because it's got some things that I'm going to break down. I'm not going to let it play all the way through its entirety, but the main reason that I'm putting it up is because, did I not put the slide up? Hold on one second. I need the slide to make this all right. I need the slide to make this all right. There we go. Yes, the main reason that I want to play this situation with Umar is because he was on a podcast, and I want to give credit to the podcast. I want to give excuse me one second. Awesome. You put that in the chat. But I want to give proper credit. The podcast that he was on, and I still don't know that brother's name. I should, because I've listened to a couple of his things, but it's called It's Up There. It's Up There podcast. So I ripped some audio off of there. Appreciate that. Who did you boycott today? I appreciate that. The system, who rig it, how to fix it on Amazon. Nice. Coming in here with some literary ism, which is beautiful. Not just ignorance. Y'all know I don't do ignorance in my chats anyway. But that right there, this is what I do to help keep me fueled in my streams. But Dr. Umar was on the It's Up There podcast, and he said some things during a segment, and they ended up talking about this thing right here. This thing right here, let me tell you, I'll be honest with you. I'm just going to call her a man killer. Now, I don't know if she's ever checked anybody out. Appreciate you. And I'd like to be able to address you as sir or ma'am or brother or sister. So if you're at liberty to do so, you know, I don't want to just speak to you in characters. So if you are a brother or a sister, I'd like to know that as well, so I can address you appropriately. But yeah, this thing right here, she took Black America through some things, and she also helped with the gender war that's out here. Because it's not a mass war. It's not a mass war, but there is a gender war out here. And she helped create the gender war, or I'm sorry, help recreate or rejuice the gender war and have people simping out here for her. Now, y'all never saw me post nothing about this because it didn't sound right from the get-go with me. And I'm going to come up before I go back down. Pause. I knew something wasn't right. I knew something wasn't right. Absolutely. We about to jump all into this one. I keep to myself. So please hang in there. Appreciate you sitting in today. Y'all could have been anywhere else in the world. Well, maybe not. I don't know how much bread you got. You could have been anywhere else where you at, but you here with me. A lot of black people were talking greasy about black men who didn't help this woman out. And now that we know what we know, we couldn't have helped her out. Black men couldn't have helped her. We couldn't have helped her at all. We couldn't have offered her any assistance. We couldn't have got her out the situation that she was in because there never was one. She made it all up. She made the whole scenario up. Accused the black man, specifically accused the black man. I just listened to the interview of the black man that she accused. Wow. It was nuts to me to hear the whole breakdown of what had actually happened. And depending on how this goes, I might just play that. But this right here, I want to use with fair use, the It's Up Here podcast with Umar as a guest. And I just want to play the segment where they talked about her and you hear how Umar simped out. And he simped out. He simped out the way he always simps out for black women. And I'm not saying he's a simp because he simps out for black women. He's a simp because in his mind, a black woman can do no wrong. And if she does do wrong, it's a black man's fault. He's always spoke this way, and he's probably always going to speak this way. But Umar believes that if a black woman does wrong, at the root of it, it's a black man's fault. So I want to play the audio, and I'm going to stop the audio where needed, but I want him to speak the way he spoke, and then you'll see why I'm going to have to stop it. So let's bring Brick Lady back up here. Let's let her fill the screen. There it is.
Last week or the other week, we saw the girl with the swollen face.
Yes.
You came out and you said that, let me frame this a little different. Last week, there was a story that came out with a black woman that had a reaction on her face. She alleged that some people beat her up for not giving her a number. You came out about that and kind of was critical about those men. That came out to be a hoax.
We don't know that. Some people say it's not a hoax.
I've seen several pictures and videos. I mean, could be wrong.
Yeah.
But I've seen several videos of her trying this, like several GoFundMes year after year, where she's literally, these guys, and this first time it's been that crazy, look that big, but she's had smaller ones where she's pulled this off before.
I don't know, because I put up a post that a sister sent me and said, you need to hold her accountable because she made this up. And then everybody else started commenting under this that it wasn't made up, and this is what you need to look at. So I still don't know what the truth.
But let's, for the sake of conversation, if you were wrong, do you think that, man, I probably should have looked a little more into that? Do you ever,
because there's nothing wrong with holding black men to a standard of behavior in public when it comes to our sisters.
That wasn't.
Hearing that. Holding black men to a standard. He's totally devoid of holding the black woman, and she's not an American freedman. She's not an American black. She is Somalian, from what I know. I heard that she was Somalian. But this is what Umar does. Umar places the pressure on the black man, but won't put any pressure on the black woman when needed, when deserved, when earned. Put the responsibility on the responsible parties. Why does he not do that? Why does he not do that? Why does Umar not do that? That's a problem. That is a huge problem.
Yeah.
Well, remember now, even if it didn't happen to her, black women are being choked out and murdered by their black male lovers on a regular basis. It's still
But
an
this
issue.
wasn't that situation.
It may have not been, but my point is I'm not going to draw the energy back because that awareness that's coming from my commentary is still very much needed out there because black women are being abused and ignored.
So at the expense of the black man, though,
It's not
because
at
black,
his expense.
I'm
You
telling
didn't
you,
lose
black
nothing.
men, no, black men are not that they're not riding with you. I want to be clear. They're still riding with you, but they're whispering, man, I don't know what that was about.
No, they want me to beat the women up. I'm not going to do it. I tell them right now, I'm never going to do that.
No, when you're wrong about nobody let her get beat up. And also, are you asking black men, I'm saying let's entertain it for the sake of conversation. And also, are you asking black men to put their lives on the line for...
We're going to go back just before that comment so he can say that all together. Umar doesn't want to have black women take any responsibility for anything, but wants to place the responsibility on the black man to get the black woman right. Now, where we couldn't have been her savior, we're still being blamed because the black woman is the most raped, the most brutalized, the most murdered, the most this, the most, but not by black men. Not by black men. So why are we taking the brunt of what he always gives off? That's craziness. And I want to take it right back a little bit before, because he's literally about to say something that's just totally asinine. And I'll stop it again.
Never going to do that.
No, when you're wrong about nobody let her get beat up. And also, are you asking black men, I'm saying let's entertain it for the sake of conversation. And also, are you asking black men to put their lives on the line for would you put your life on the line for a woman you don't know and leave your children?
Black woman?
Yeah, black woman.
You don't
right
have a
now.
choice. It's part of being a man.
Right now.
Yes.
And leave your daughters without a father.
Dr. King didn't.
So you heard that. Dr. King did it. Really? Dr. King put his life on the line and risked his life to leave his daughters and his sons and his wife. He put that on the line? No, he didn't. He got shot. He got shot on a balcony of a hotel. Everything that Dr. King did wasn't deserving of him getting shot. Just like if somebody would have stuck up for this woman, had something actually happen to her, they wouldn't have put their life on the line for sticking up for a woman. That would have been putting their life on the line. And it just wouldn't have been what a black man is supposed to do. A man should feel obligated to do that. Black, white, brown, yellow. Why is the responsibility put on the black man to do that? Because, like I said, she's not an American black woman. She's Somalian. And where it makes a difference is I don't see that happening with a black woman. Not where they were. Somewhere in Houston, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. And the history and everything, it's all behind her now because she's done this before, faked attacks and all kinds of stuff. People have asked, well, where'd she get the bruise from? possibly even self-inflicted, they're saying. She could have had somebody do something to her, but it's possibly self-inflicted. And the reason that nobody saw the bruise before was because she had a mask on all night. She was wearing a mask, and nobody has really talked about that. She was literally wearing a mask. How come nobody talks about that? She had this designer mask on all night until it got to the point where it was time to cut a fool and act like she had been attacked, pulls the mask off. Okay. And this is what I looked at, because when they showed the hospital video, I said, okay, here's what I'm looking at. Let me just go and drop back. You got hit with a brick. Somebody hit you with a brick in your face, right? Let's just think about this. Let's just think about this. Somebody hit you with a brick in your face. If you get hit with a brick in your face, it's going to break the skin. A brick is not going to hit you. You know how rough a brick is, and the edges of a brick? If it hits you in the face, you are at least going to have an abrasion along with that swelling. You might actually have a gash. There was no gash. You see that? There was no gash. This is why I didn't simp out the way a lot of y'all simped out. This is why I didn't step up and say, you know, they should have been helping her. Where's the broken skin? If she got hit with a brick, it would have broke her skin. She probably would have lost some teeth. She'd have maybe some chipped bones in her face. But all we see is some swelling. A grown man threw a brick at your face, and all you got was a lump. This is where people don't really read between the lines when they ain't actually having to read, when they can just look at a picture. Somebody hit you with a brick and it didn't break your skin. No abrasion, no cut, no gash, just swelling. No broken bones in your face. No chipped teeth. Come on, man. Y'all silly out here. Y'all silly with yours. To even believe that this could happen in this way, in this fashion, is just ludicrous. It's just flat out ludicrous. And Umar's out here simping on it like crazy.
I'm asking Dr. Umar.
Yes, it's part of who. Okay. Nobody wants to die. I don't have a death wish.
Right.
But I understand as a man, my obligation is to every black woman, not just the one I'm married to and the ones I gave birth to.
Okay, sounds good. I like that. It definitely, I mean, because I'm saying,
if a black woman,
some black women will teach you as a young black male. Now, here's a conundrum. Some black women will teach you as a young black kid. Don't you jump in that. It ain't got nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
You need to make it home to little tie-tie and little run.
And I think that's appropriate for the children. But for grown men, it's not appropriate.
So minding your business, protecting yourself, protecting your own, is something that you're taught as a child. But that should change. And this brother's actually about to go over it. That should change, but that changes how? By just you growing up and say, you know what? I'm not just going to keep to myself. I'm going to now stick my nose in every piece of business that doesn't necessarily concern me.
So he needs to rewire himself as his teaching. His teaching was you mind your business, they bother your family, then that's one thing. But
what if we had that mentality when the Ku Klux Klan was terrorizing neighborhoods back in the Willie Lynch days? What if we said, I'm only going to worry about the Klan when they knock on my door? They would have picked us apart. We had to organize. Black people are no longer used to organizing because of our self-hate and selfishness. The only way we come out of this is by working together. That's it.
That's why I kept the drop. Because even in all the craziness that he spat, it was like a 3-hour talk, but just in that 3-minute segment, even with all the lunacy that he spat, at the end of it, he came back with what I've been talking about all day. Integrating. And if we integrate, it means to combine with another so that they become a whole. We unify. We consolidate. We merge. We unite. We join. We fuse. But that don't mean that we do all of those things with people or entities that are dangerous to us. We do that with the right individuals. And frankly, if you're doing it with the wrong individuals, you might as well not do it at all, because you're going to create something even worse than what already is. If you try to integrate with the wrong individuals, you will have a worse off mission than what wasn't even going on before you decided to do what you ain't going to get done. But we got too many people out here doing that. We got a ton of people out here doing that. And I know a lot of y'all don't like that, but that's okay.
Did you say nigga?
Y'all can say that all day long. I know my limits. And I know people that I deal with on a regular basis, and people that I deal with on an indirect regular basis. I know people are only going to go as far as leadership goes. And I don't think we have the type of leadership in Black America that we had before, from a civil rights stance. And we've moved so much further from the civil rights movement stance that we have to speak about integration, what it was truly meant to be spoken about. And that's what people don't really understand. We missed the boat when we jumped on the integration train. We missed the boat. Economics and politics were what we needed to be truly integrated in. But we took everything else. We took everything else. We took trinkets. We took coins. We took garments. When what we should have been taking was power, economic power, political power. And now as we've turned and we're in 2024, we are indeed involved in many of things. But are we integrated economically and politically? I watched something yesterday with the Washtenaw County Democratic Party. And I don't know if it was the Democratic Party or the Black Caucus. It had a whole bunch of Black politicians on there. You know, a few of who I actually have interviewed on my platforms, Justin Hodge and Felicia Brayback. Jimmy Wilson is somebody that I'm looking to hopefully break bread with soon. But there were Black politicians up there, and I was listening to these Black politicians, all whom were Democrats, definitely vote blues no matter whose. And I'm like, but they're not speaking about what I want to speak about. And I'm not here to throw any shade on their meeting, their forum, whatever they had yesterday. I was a part of the Zoom. I listened in from the beginning until the end. And the one thing that I saw, well, there was a lot of teabagging and a lot of pearl twirling. A lot of teabagging, a lot of pearl twirling. But I didn't hear about action. I didn't hear about things truly that have been done and things truly that need to be done. And that's what I thought it was about. I thought it was about equity. They were supposed to be talking about equity in the county, and I thought they were supposed to be talking about it from a Black American stance, but it didn't sound like that. Hell, the whole meeting got started with Debbie Dingle talking about how Ukrainians need to be funded and continue to be funded by the United States government. Now, she comes there to talk at a Black politicians forum in Black History Month at the Washtenaw County Black Caucus, Black Democratic Party meeting, and she starts out talking about Ukrainians and financing Ukraine. They were talking about the other war. What's that got to do with Black Americans in Washtenaw County? They were time fillers. I get it. They only had a certain amount of time to be on that Zoom. So they brought her in. They brought Hill Harper in. You know, got some star power out of that thing. They brought Hill Harper in. Hopefully everybody got a selfie with Hill Harper, got his autograph and everything. I know a lot of y'all ain't never really been around Hollywood celebrities and things like that. Hopefully y'all got all that out your way. Because Hill wasn't there for a Hollywood moment, even though he is very polished. He's very well rehearsed. He'll probably never come on my platform because he don't go on real platforms. He's gonna go on Democratic Party platforms. I get it. He don't go on real platforms. He's never gonna come on here. I've invited him already. He's never gonna come on my platform. And that's okay. That's okay. But you can't ask me to vote for you if you can't even talk to me. And he's talked with different individuals. But he won't talk to me because I'm not talking that shit. I'm talking real shit. Hill would much rather sit down with these cats than this cat. And I get it. It's okay. But where we've been today and why it fooled Black folks. Why it fooled Black folks is because we bought into the wrong stuff. We bought into things. We didn't buy into power. And now they want to talk about equity. How are we going to talk about equity when we're so far from being equal and even further from having real equity? But they got time for everybody else out here. When I say they, I'm talking about the government. They got time for everybody else, whether it be other countries, continents, or people that aren't even supposed to be here. You're in a space at this point where you're going to see more and more of this. You're going to see more and more of this. Man sentenced to 100 years for killing his co-worker. Man sentenced to 100 years for killing co-worker who stole his lunch from the lunch refrigerator. Really? He killed a man for eating his lunch. Now, you know what? I've had people take things out of employee refrigerators of mine and eat them, thinking it was some type of community situation. I've had people take food off my desk, like candy or whatever it was on my desk, thinking it was like more of a community thing. Because I've done that. If I got a public desk, you know, I'll put stuff on my desk because I don't want people in my stuff. But I've had people take things off my desk. I get it. But when I've had somebody take something that wasn't necessarily meant for anybody else, I get angry, but I ain't never thought about killing nobody for eating something that was meant for me to eat. What you say there, why did you boycott today? So sad, so sad. Self-interest and self-agenda will be exposed more in 24. Absolutely. Absolutely. I've said this is the year of reckoning for my generation, for my demographic. I think it's the year of reckoning. And it's really the year of reckoning for a lot of situations. You know, I am not one of those people that thinks he's some great philosopher. I don't really believe and look at myself as some type of, you know, philosopher. You know, I'm definitely not one of these circular talking individuals. You see, my brother, the way you've got to look at the sun is through ray bands. Now let's look at that word bands. Could be battle of the bands, or it could be like we banned from going somewhere because we are not truly integrated. See how I brought that back? I brought that back because I'm about to bring this to a close. I appreciate anybody who contributed to the chat today. One of the main things that I will always want to get across, not only just my message, but I want it to be something where people can put things into the chat that I can actually build off of. Because if I can't build off of the chat or the comments, the things that come through, then it just makes for, you know, somewhat of an echo chamber type of situation. And I don't need that. I talk to myself enough. I'd rather be talking to individuals. And I know people are going to watch this video after the fact. And hopefully, like they do sometimes, they leave the comments, whether it be on Facebook or whether it be on YouTube or even Twitter. They'll leave comments and I'll comment back. I'll reply back. I have no problem that they didn't get to the live. But the fact that they take the time out to say things after the fact, I feel compelled to absolutely respond to them. Good, bad, or indifferent. But for everybody that's been a part of this stream, we're going to be back. I might even get back in here today. I know I say that a lot, and sometimes I can and sometimes I can't. But I want to make sure that where we are is really where we need to be with integration. Because integration, it's more than a word. And it's more than some things being combined. If it doesn't include economic and political integration, it doesn't truly include you. Because that's what you need. If you are seeking to integrate into a system, you need economic and political integration. If you don't have that, you have nothing. So I appreciate everybody coming in here, and I'd like to dedicate this outro to one of the greatest voices of all time. I'm not going to play his music because we know his music and we want to live and love his music. But I came across this lie in my photos and I was like, you know, I'm going to use it as a slide. The day that David Ruffin lied to Black America. I don't know if many of y'all remember this, because I know I don't. I was way too small to remember this. But this is the day that David lied to us when he went on Soul Train. He went on Soul Train with a wig on. I don't know what possessed David to do this because he had a little afro. David had a little afro. He always had a little afro. He ain't never had this. He ain't never had the Billy Preston. He ain't never had the Sly Stone fro. He ain't never had that Jermaine Jackson during the Dancing Machine era fro. David Ruffin's hair never hit his shoulders. I'm not sure what David was doing here. Thank you, Who Did You Boycott Today? Please subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification so when I do come up, I'd like you to do the same. You never did let me know whether you are a brother or a sister so I could identify you and give you your salutations properly, but maybe you want to keep that hidden, and that's okay. But you take care as well. I appreciate you coming in here today. Elmira Friesen, Ishler got popular then. It did get popular. I mean, everybody wanted a big fro like that. I got it. But David's fro was not authentic. His fro was not authentic. This was a wig. This was indeed a wig. If you look at any picture of David Ruffin back in the day, you ain't never seen two pictures of David Ruffin with his hair like this. This was for Soul Train, and I'm thinking that he must have fried his hair up. I'm thinking he must have fried his hair up, and his hair wasn't ready to go on Soul Train. So he was like, I need an Afro wig. And this is what they had because he had to do that performance. I don't know what possessed David to do this, but he did it. And it is what it is. What it is, what it is. But I'm going to take it out with my homeboys, family, the Urban Black Poets, just because I like playing this outro. I got a cat that I actually got to make sure I send him these tracks from this album because I got them downloaded, and I'm going to do that today. I'm going to make sure I do that today. I'm going to put that on my do list. I'm subscribed and I'm mail. Thank you, brother. Happy Black History Month to you. Already done and subscribe right away. I am a woman. True gender. Thank you, sister. Appreciate that. I just like to identify with people and what they identify as. And, you know, my brethren, my sisters out here, I love it just to know who y'all are out here. Appreciate y'all. And hopefully I'll see you on the next one around. The Villager on deck. We out.
Yeah, rapper stepping to me. They wanna get some, but I'm the cat, so yo, you know the outcome.
Rapper stepping to me. They wanna get some, but I'm the creeper, so yo, you know the outcome.
Rapper stepping to me. They wanna get some, but I'm the cat, so yo, you know the outcome.
Rapper stepping to me. They wanna get some, but I'm the creeper, so yo, you know the flow.
Who wanna see me act a fool? Grab the mic and broadcast like the 6 o'clock news. Reaching my peaks when I excite the crowd. And MCs get dealt with quick for crying out loud. I packed a little something that be rumping your subs. Back happy in the house, I'll show your MC some love. My slow flow keeps you on the go like no dose. Plus, I'm your doctor on call for the down low. It's just the like thing that functions what I bring. Like Mary J sang, I got real love for this game. Yeah. Never coming lame, I'm in the streets, not peak. What time is it? Time to play for keeps. Check it out, I'm coming with that soul sonic force, of course. Running rugged like a thoroughbred horse. Got my torch in my hand like I'm starting the Olympics. Microphone stays on fire cause I'm gifted. Terrific. I still got juice like high C. Plus I'm funking up your liver like 2 quarts of OD. So knock knock, who is it? It's your fat MC. Once again ready to bounce down these roads and streets. Yeah, fill my cup up, fool, and let's blaze up the weed to the old school. Let's ride, glide, slippity slide. Yeah, and like niggas be cool. Like niggas be cool. Fill my cup up, fool, and let's blaze up the weed to the old school. Let's ride, glide, slippity